Stories for Monday, June 24th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to talk about the podcast as a whole. Right now, when you listen to the podcast, there are ads at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. But what if you really hate ads? I want you to still be able to listen to this show and enjoy the experience. I've created a Patreon for this podcast, and if you want to access it, you can get to it through the show notes. The Patreon allows you to subscribe for $3 a month and get a link to enjoy the show ad-free. My plan is for the people who sign up as subscribers to support the show through Patreon to pay $3 a month, and then in the future, if anyone new wanted to support the show and experience an ad-free version of it, it would be $5. But if you sign up in the next 30 days, you would be grandfathered in and get that $3 a month subscription price forever. You can get to the link to support me through Patreon in the show notes, and that would be so much appreciated. And then you get to experience the show completely ad-free. Okay, let's dive into the questions that the head of Instagram answered on his Ask Me Anything. And let's talk first about an app specifically for Instagram DMs. On the Facebook side of the house, there's the regular Facebook app, and then there's the Messenger app that handles all your Facebook DMs. If you want to use the Facebook app to send DMs, you can't. It actually forces you to download and install Messenger. Instagram is not set up that way. So the question, any chance of a standalone messaging app for Instagram DMs? Here's Adam's answer.
If I'm honest, probably not. I think that it's an idea we've definitely explored before. We've even built a version and tested it years ago. But it turns out that messages are just deeply integrated into all of Instagram. We are about talking to your friends about your interests. So just having one side or the other pulled out of the app doesn't really work for us anymore. Never say never, but I seriously doubt it.
Okay, let's go on to the next question. Can we block individuals from commenting or tagging us? The answer to this is yes. You've heard me talk about the various ways that you can block and restrict people on Instagram, but here's Adam's answer.
You can. You've got two options. One is you can block them entirely, which makes it so that it looks to them like you don't even exist on Instagram. But if you don't want to do that because you're worried that they're going to find out or get mad or it's going to escalate the situation, you can restrict them, which will make it so that, sorry for the notification, when they comment on your stuff, it'll look like they commented, but you can approve it before anyone else sees it. And same thing with tags.
I think restrict mode is one of the best things that Instagram has come up with because just like Adam described, it's a great way to prevent the situation from escalating. You can tell that someone blocked you. If you know what their username is and you go to their page and it no longer exists, but you use a different Instagram account or you just use one of the anonymous story or Instagram viewer sites online, then you can still see their page, then you know that you're blocked, right? That's just part of how Instagram fundamentally works. So restrict mode is a great solution for this problem. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Did creators you meet with ask for any specific features? I would imagine that creators are always asking for specific features. Here's Adam's answer.
Creators always ask for specific features. They're often around creation tools or editing tools. One I thought was pretty good that I heard about this week traveling around Europe was the ability to rearrange your grid. So you should be able to control your profile and make it look exactly how you want to, which I think is a cool idea that we'll explore.
Rearranging the grid is a very good idea. Being able to pin things is what you can do on Instagram currently. You can currently pin up to 3 posts that you want to appear at the top of your profile, and then people will see those at the top. But maybe you want to push down in your profile content that hasn't performed as well, but you still want it there for whatever reason. Being able to shuffle that around, being able to reorder your grid is a great idea and something I would really like to see Instagram implement. Let's go on to the next question. How long after I post should I check my insights? Here's Adam's answer.
If you're like me, you probably check too early. I think that's a hard thing to avoid doing. I do think for most people, you're going to see most of your connected reach and engagement happen in the first day or so. But more and more recommendations are an important part of people's reach, and that will actually continue to grow for much longer. So I wouldn't expect the distribution, if you're a public account of some size, to really settle for, a couple of days, maybe even a week.
It's a good point he makes because it's so tempting to check your posts right away to see how they performed, but it can take time for the Explore page to pick it up and for that content to start getting shared out more broadly. Before we go on to the next question, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about adding text to stories, linking posts on Facebook, and more. So stick around. Oh, hey, welcome back. Did you not really want to hear ads just then? Well, you could subscribe to my Patreon and get a link to enjoy this show completely ad-free. So that's an idea. So that's an option. Let's go on to the next question. Would you ever add text sizes to stories? This question is confusing because you can resize texts in stories, but maybe the person who asked this question wasn't aware of that.
If you add text to a story, you can actually pinch to make it bigger, pinch out, or pinch in to make it smaller. So you can change the text size.
Isn't it funny how something little like that might not be obvious even though it's possible? Let's go on to the next question. Why can't you link in a post the way you can on Facebook? I think I originally did not understand what this person was asking. What they mean is, how come you can put a link in a post caption on Facebook, but you can't do that on Instagram? As a reminder, you can put a link in your bio, you can put a link in stories, but those are the only locations.
We don't have links on Instagram outside of link in bio and story stickers for a couple of reasons. The primary ones are they do come with a certain amount of risk and work. They're a spam vector, and there's more work to do just addressing the spam we already have on the app. But two, and probably more important, is they would change the tenor of the content. They would become less about visual creativity and more about publishers and news, and I don't think that's really what we're about. We're more interested in being a place for people to share creativity and connect over that creativity. For sharing ideas and things like news, we think Threads is a better fit, and so we're focused on that app for that use case.
Okay, and the last question we're going to do today, how come there is not the ability to edit the length of any video you upload to a story before posting it? I want to say this is an absolutely key thing that Instagram should have implemented a long time ago. If you have a 60-second video and you want to upload it to stories, but the critical part is only 15 seconds, there is no way to do that within Instagram stories. Reels, no problem. Instagram stories, not so much. Here's Adam's answer.
That's another good idea. This one, you should be able to not only limit the length or pick the length, but pick what part of the reel you want to actually share into stories, like you can do in other creation flows. I'll talk to the team.
That could be me. I could be on that team. Instagram hasn't hit me up yet for a job, but that's another conversation for another time. As always, thank you so much for listening to the show. If you would like to support by subscribing to my Patreon and experiencing the show ad-free, look for a link in the show notes, and be sure to come back next time for more Instagram news, TikTok news, social media strategy, all the important things. You can find them here on the Instagram stories. Let's have the wrap song.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.